the water sector is chronically underfunded. The World Bank estimates that we need to triple the amount of money going into the sector. And in Europe, the water resilience strategy puts the annual shortfall at around 23 billion euros. So this gap comes from a wave of challenges arriving everywhere all at once. The sector is often described as having too much water, too little water, or water that's simply too polluted. The gap's so large that we're never going to close it by just spreading our existing budgets across all of those different challenges. That'll only be sure to make sure that we make no meaningful progress on any one of them. I think one of the few levers we can pull is to bring down the cost of tackling those challenges. And that's where innovation comes in. So where does innovation come from in the sector? Well, we see lots of it coming through the supply chain. There's a well-trodden path of startups growing, bringing new solutions and technologies to market, proving themselves and getting acquired by strategic corporates. IPOs in the sector are quite rare, so you need to think of transactions like Xylem buying Valor Water Analytics, or Deal Metering and Preventio, the water analytics startup. And although these larger corporates will have R&D departments, we see a lot of activity with their corporate development teams. Much of the R&D seems to be moving in that direction. So R&D is becoming M&A. And it seems that perhaps it's more efficient to buy your innovation than to develop it, but it does have real weaknesses in how the market can behave. So the funding is going to be market dependent. If the share price of these corporates were to drop, so too will their ambition for acquisition. Similarly, we know that the water industry doesn't have enough venture capital in it. It's a huge global market, and there's plenty of space for more venture capital. But perhaps the small exit market is putting people off. There's only really a handful of these corporates that can provide that strong exit opportunity for startups. So to keep encouraging innovation, we need to keep encouraging more venture capital into the sector. We need to support those startups in those early stages and make sure there's a healthy pipeline at the beginning. But we also need to make sure that those large corporates are doing their bit and that they continue to remain incentivized to create a pull and a draw for innovation into the sector. And I think that can sit with the end users. For every contract and framework they set up, they should be concentrating hard on making sure there are clauses and incentives in there for those large corporates to bring innovation through and to keep that demand in the industry. The responsibility for the end users doesn't end there, of course. They also need to be thinking about how they can support the ecosystem. And I think one of the best things they can do is make sure they open their doors to startups such that whilst they're on their development journey, they can have access directly to the staff of those end users, making sure that the solutions and technologies that they develop are focused on real industry problems. That'll speed up the journey to development and maturity no end. So more innovation won't close this investment gap, but it will certainly make a dent on it. I'm Chris Thomas, the Director of Strategy and Insight at Isle Utilities. Do connect with me if you'd like to speak more on this.